Hi everyone, my name is Johan and welcome to Go Ahead and Make Me.
Go ahead and make me.
Now, I'm a bear maker. I make these guys. I design them and I create them and I sell them. I started doing that about, I think, 7 years ago. And I really enjoyed doing it. And I got into all kinds of other stuff that had to do with fabrics. And I bought a fairly good sewing machine. And I started doing things like quilting as well. And I started looking at YouTube um, channels that featured those skills, and I saw that there was a lot of stuff that was very specific, specifically about quilts or specifically about knitting or crocheting, which is all fine, but I like to do a lot of different kind of things when it comes to fabrics. I like trying things out. I like designing things myself. And so that's why I set up this channel, to share that with you and to stimulate you to use your own creativity and, design your own things maybe. What can you expect from this channel? Well, I'd like to share patterns with you that I've made myself. I will be giving them away for free and you can try them out, and I'd love to hear your feedback, of course. I'll also be making patterns that I've bought myself commercially, either online or in a shop, and give you an honest review of them. Yeah, all kinds of crafts will be involved, not just things that have to do with fabric. Of course, Christmas is coming up, and that's, of course, the season to be making all kinds of things for your home and for friends and whatever. So, in the coming episodes, that will definitely feature. And because this is the first episode and it's almost Halloween, I've designed something that is appropriate for the season. And it's this little buddy. He's a cat. Um, his name is August. That's what I called him. And if you see down in the description of this video, you'll see the link to the pattern. And you can download that for free, and it'll look like this. It's just 2 pages. It's not complicated, I promise. And in this first episode, I will show you how to make him. Not step by step, because that will be an hour-long video. But I will show you the bits and pieces that are perhaps a bit more complicated than just straightforward sewing. Some notes before you start is that you can make them on the machine, but I recommend that you make at least the tricky parts by hand, because some of them are just too complicated to put under your needle in the machine, and you have more control over it that way as well. The list of things that you might need to make him is just fabric, any fabric really. I made this one just out of regular cotton, but here, for instance, is one that I made out of corduroy. It's kind of a ribbed fabric. Here's one I made out of a sock, a pair of socks that I just found in a $2 bargain bin. He's a bit larger because the fabric stretches more, so he became larger just automatically. And then you have, another one here. He's made out of denim. So it doesn't really matter what fabric you choose. Here's another one this one is one of my favorites. He's faux suede, and he's really cute. So yeah, you don't have to just make him for. I mean, I put this one on a pumpkin, but so that he's for Halloween, but he could be for any season and any day, and you know, you could give him as a gift, keep him for yourself, make 2 of them, make 3 of them, and okay, let's get started. So this is the pattern, and after you've cut out all the pieces, you put them on your fabric. You give them a margin, a seam allowance, and then you end up with these pieces, which are the pieces you're going to work with. Because it's black fabric, I used a white pencil to draw the pattern on, and these pieces as you can see, I've used different types of black fabric just to make a bit of a more interesting contrast between the pieces. The first piece you're going to sew together is the body front, and that's this. And so we're going to put it together and sew along this line, just the back of it. That's all we're doing. Now, I'm going to start with the first piece. I'm using not black thread, but actually marine dark blue thread. The reason for that is if I have to undo something, if I've made a mistake, it's really hard to unpick black thread on black fabric. So to make a bit of a contrast, to make that easier, because I do tend to make some mistakes, that's why I'm using a color different, other than black, because it's just easier to see. Do a little bit faster than that. There we go. That's our first piece. Okay, this is the point where I have to tell you as a disclaimer that I'm not actually very skilled at sewing at all. I just enjoy doing it, but it doesn't mean I'm very good at it. And I'm never going to win any kind of awards for neat sewing, so just so you know. So now we have our front body part. I'll just flatten the seam. And then we attach the 2 parts of the back body, but be careful to leave the opening, as it says on the pattern, because that's what we're going to need to stuff it later on. Now we're going to attach the back body to the front body, but before we do that, we are going to attach the butt, the cat butt. The straight edge goes to the front, and this is his actual butt, so it'll go like that. Like so. Take that to the machine. So here we have the bottom piece attached to the back pieces. And here's of course that very important gap I was talking about that you have to leave open. Now we're going to attach the back to the front. As you can see, this is very easy to match up. And so you will match these up, sew along the lines, do the same on the other side. Now as you assemble the cat, it's kind of important that wherever there's a big curve like here, that you score, if that's the word, that curve with a few cuts along it. I'm sure I'm not the first person to tell you this, but this is so that when you turn the whole thing inside out, that it doesn't pucker or you don't get any weird wrinkles, that it's all smooth. See, especially here in the between the body and the foot, give a few cuts. Otherwise it's just gonna look awkward when you turn it inside out. We are joined by my lovely assistant Orson. He is very lovely, but he's also completely useless as an assistant because all he does is just shed hair everywhere and meow a lot, that kind of thing. Just say bye-bye, bye-bye. Now this next part is really one of those parts that I think you should be doing by hand because, well, maybe you're skilled enough to do this on the machine, and if so, then go ahead, if you think you can do that. But I think it's a bit too tricky for me, so I'll show you how. I'm going to do this by hand. These are the soles of the feet. As you see, this is the contrasting color. That will, in the end, look like this. You can see. The best way to do this is to fold the sole piece into the opening, and then with some pins to just keep it in place while you're sewing it. Otherwise you're going to need 4 hands to do this. This side again. There we go. And as you can see, it sits perfectly. So all you have to do is sew along the rim, and then you're ready to turn the whole thing inside out. So let's get started with that. Okay, so now I've attached the soles to the feet. Because the whole thing is circular, again we're going to give little cuts all along the curves to prevent the puckering, and it'll just look awkward if you don't. Just be careful you don't cut through the sewing that you did, because that would be disastrous. Well, not really, but you'd have to do it all again. So well, here's an example of my not very neat sewing by hand. By the way, I always use a double thread. I don't know why. I guess I got into that because of the bears that I make. I just want them to be extra sturdy, and so I just got into the habit of using a double thread. I always have. Gives more security, I suppose. Now that we've got the whole body, we can turn it inside out. And just be careful that you don't rip any stitches. That's the hole for that's the neck, and then here we have 1 foot. There we go. Just pull it out gently, like so. And then to get into the corners, I always use a chopstick. And again, gently push the fabric out There we go, there's the whole foot. And the next step is going to be filling the body. But before we do that, we'll make the tail, which is these pieces. Oh, where's my other piece? Well, that's my other tail piece. Where have I put it? Here it is. Now I'm not going to show you all that, because all you have to do is put the good sides together, like so. And as indicated on the pattern, you just stitch all along, except for the back of the tail, because that's the opening you're going to need to stuff it with the polyfill when you turn it inside out. So, and actually the same goes for the arms. We've turned the body inside out, and now we're going to attach the tail and the arms. The tail looks like this once you've put the pieces together and you've stuffed it with polyfill, and the arms, they look like this, pretty much the same thing. First we'll attach the tail, and we've left the opening for that right at the bottom, where the body ends, where you would expect the tail to be. You insert it, just the very end of it. Okay, you tuck in this bit, and now what you do with some small stitches, you just hand sew the tail to the body. And for this I did use black rather than the blue that I used on the machine for the thread, because otherwise the blue thread would be too visible if you would use, because the thread's on the outside of the body. I'll just go all the way around. And turn it over. Now remember, it's a tail, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit floppy, because, you know, like a normal tail it should be. It's usually not super rigid. We've attached the tail, as you can see, like so. Now, before we attach the arms to the neck, we will fill the whole body with polyfill. And you could do it through the neck, but it's such a tiny hole now, so we're going to use that hole that we made for it specifically. And when you stuff it, be careful to first reach all the way down into the feet. And you probably won't be able to reach the toes just with your fingers, so again we'll use the chopstick. See, you can fill it out all the way there, and do that for the rest of the body. With the body firmly stuffed, we can now close the opening in the back, and we do it with a ladder stitch. And I love ladder stitches because they allow you to close an opening, and the stitching is becomes almost invisible. Now we're about to attach the arms to the body, and the way we do that is simply we take one of them, make sure it's in the right position, hold it against the top
of the neck, like so. And all you do is attach it with a few stitches. Like so. You don't have to worry about it looking too neat, because that's the part of the neck that we're going to cover up anyway with some decoration, be it faux fur or a scarf or whatever. So you don't have to be too neat attaching these. With a little knot there, and the same on the other side. See, it sort of looks like this from the front. We can vary the pose of the arm. I suppose you can make it go a bit forward, give the character a bit more movement. And again, just a few stitches. That's the body. So for now, we're done with the body, and we'll just put it aside for now. And we can start with the headpiece. These are the bottom parts, or the sides of the head. I've already attached them, as you can see, but I've only attached them along the front of the neck and the jaw up to the nose. Right? So we fold it open, because then we will attach this piece, which is the top of the face, and it just starts here. Just put a pin in there for now, and it goes round, and just follow it round, and on the other side just line it up. See, and then that will become the nose. What you have to be careful for is that when you sew this all the way round, that you leave a little opening here and on the other side as well, about this big, as it's indicated on the pattern, because we're going to attach the ears later, and they were going to be partially in there as well. So it's going to be sort of like this, if you can follow that, but it'll become clearer when I do it. So for now, we'll just attach this. The top part's been attached of the face and the head. So what we do now is we turn it inside out, like so. This is the nose. See, that's the nose. And this is where the eyes will end up. And see, we kept these endings open. See, so we can insert the ears there. Now the ears, I've attached all pieces already, and as you can see, I gave them those little cuts to accommodate the curve, like so. Here, see, and then turn them inside out. With our trusted tool, the chopstick. Now don't push too hard in the corner, just be gentle. Make sure the whole seam is pressed out. That's one ear. Just give it a bit of a press. You could even use one of those mini sewing irons. I have one, but I always seem to lose it, so I have no idea where it is at the moment. So we'll just make do. The other ear, inside out. And then we chopstick the point out once again. Push out the seam. And here. Flatten it. Like so. Now, the next bit might be a little bit tricky. Because we're going to insert the ears in such a way that this end of the ear goes in that little gap we left, like so, and then the other part, the rest of it, goes along this line. So in the end it'll be attached like so. And we'll just start by inserting the ears in there and sewing that closed, and then we'll attach the rest of the ear like that. With the ears attached, the head is starting to take shape. It's like a proper cat face already. This is probably the right moment to insert the eyes. Now, I'm using plastic cat eyes with safety backs, like so, that you push on them. That's what I'm doing. If you can't get these eyes, if it's hard for you to find them, or if you just prefer, you can either use buttons for eyes, or just embroider the eyes, or anything you'd like. You know, do it your way. Meanwhile, I'll show you how to attach one of these eyes. There's no real rule as to where to put them. You just sort of have to gauge it. And then you make a little hole with sharp scissors, like so. Take one of the eyes, push it through the fabric. Make sure that the iris, because it's not round in this case, that it's in the right position so that it's not crooked, but that it's like so. Now I'm using extra big eyes because this is a Halloween cat and I want him to look a bit more, I don't know, scary or wild, I suppose, than the other cats. What I like to do is before I secure it with this back, I like to put a little dot of glue on the back. That's not only to secure, this is fabric glue, by the way. That's not only to secure the eye, but also to prevent the fabric from ripping. There we go. And then we attach this. You need to push it down really hard. Wait, I probably used it the young. Yep, wrong way round. Wrong way round. There we go. Make sure it's still in the right position. Yep, that's how we want it. And push the back all the way down, so that you hear the click of the final placing. So that's how you attach the eyes. Now with the eyes inserted, like so, we put the face inside out, and then the last final bit, the back of the head, we'll put it on top. Very simple, and we just sew along the line all the way closed, being careful to still leave the neck opening open. We've got the complete head, and now all we have to do is attach it to the body, like so. Now what you do is you fold over just a little bit the fabric around the neck, and then you just stitch it around. And just stitch it around. Again, neatness is not an issue here because we're gonna decorate the neck. Just go all the way around. And there he is, August the cat. I gave him a bit of a more outgoing type of necklace, which is made out of blue feathers. Also, because his brother already has a fur collar. There we go. All ready for Halloween.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Go Ahead and Make Me. I hope you give the pattern of August the Cat a go, and I hope you'll enjoy making him. If you have got any comments or questions, leave them below and I'll answer when I can. I want to give a special thanks to the guys from Fiber Hustle, Chip and Aaron, because they've been very supportive and very helpful in me starting this. So thanks, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you watch again next time because we'll be doing a lot of Christmas stuff after the Halloween stuff. Alright, thanks for watching. See ya.
I